Boo bitches, welcome to episode 190 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I am River Kane, and today I have a special guest joining us, Jessica King. She is a medium clairvoyant. I am so excited to ask her questions. First, I wanted to ask, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking water with lemon and mint.
That
Um,
sounds lovely.
well, it's got great energetic vibration to it. So it's just something that I kind of one of my favorites to have on.
I love that. I'm drinking coffee with, I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan or not, but I am a big Harry Potter fan. And I found this cauldron cake creamer for
Oh,
coffee. So that's what I'm drinking today. It's too early in the day to start with the alcohol for me. I got work to do after this, but
yeah.
so that's what I'm drinking. So let's just jump into some questions. I'm so excited to hear about that. But before I dive in, for anyone new to your work, how do you describe what you do without scaring the muggles, so to speak?
I really have never worried about scaring the muggles because I have decided that you're either with it or you're not. So, I mean, I'm always very transparent and I just say I talk to dead people and communicate with the spirit realm. And
Interesting.
I will deal with the spirit realm at levels that most will not.
Okay. And so in your is that your definition of what a medium is, or are there different definitions out there?
There could be different. There is very different definitions, I guess, for mediums because there's different types of mediums.
Okay.
So I mean, there's certain mediums that are called like evidential mediums. Those are, those are evidence-based mediums that they'll provide details and facts to certain scenarios, and to help people to understand who they're communicating with, which is, I do evidential mediumship, but I also am a transconfiguration medium, which means that at certain points when I channel, I can actually take on the features and aspects of the person that I'm channeling,
Oh,
which is
wow.
weird and sometimes interesting.
That is fascinating. I was reading on your website, your About You section, and it was saying that at 3 years old, you had a ghostly Indian chief visit you at night.
Yeah.
How normal at 3 years old did you think that was normal, or were you like, "Sir, it's bedtime. Take the hatchet and the drama somewhere else," or were you scared?
Um, I had a lot of fear with it at a very early age. Obviously, we're in the South, and so I mean that was not ever accepted. Um, from when I was growing up, it was one of those things that was. I mean, even though I have found now it's prevalent through my family on both sides for spiritual gifts, that was something that, because of the Christian faith, that was something that they struggled with, that being normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was often just told that I had a very active imagination.
Yeah.
And so so no, it kind of freaked me out a lot. But here, I mean, here we are, and I'm, almost 50, and he's still with me. And he's been with me my whole life. So
Oh,
we
wow.
work together. He has been with me since he was assigned to me before birth. So
So he wasn't part of the property or anything of where you grew up. He was assigned to you specifically.
yes,
Oh wow, that is so cool.
yeah.
So did your parents were they thinking, "Oh, this is an imaginary friend," or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, it became interesting because I also, I know that my sister would have some mild experiences. She never had them at the same level as I did, but she had her own, kind of experiences and stuff. So I was not the only one that would experience stuff.
Okay.
Um, and that was one of those things that I was just like, okay, I mean, but I also was able to give really, really clear details as to what I was seeing. And I was like, I mean, this looks like this and this, and that, but it just never was validated or accepted. And I finally, after, of course, years of, feeling like a very tortured soul, is I guess the best way I know how
Oh,
to put it,
yeah.
and having some really direct conversations with my mother. She finally admitted she just didn't know how. to help me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nor did she understand it. And so that was the easier way. And I was like, to make me feel crazy, that was the easier way.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I understand as a parent not wanting that for you.
Yeah.
So maybe if I don't acknowledge it, it will go away type of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah. So did that tension that you grew up with help shape you, or did you and your sister, or however many other siblings you have, did you all go and talk on your own about it?
Um, it well, it shaped me because I can remember all the way through my childhood. I had prophetic dreams, and would have like things that and I've told people, even my mother, I've had conversations with my mother about it. I mean, is that I had dreams that I actually couldn't decipher until my 30s.
Oh, wow.
So and it was stuff that was so intense that I didn't understand like
Hmm.
what all it was trying to tell me at a really very early age. And it but when I truly stepped forth into my gifts, it was like, I get it. Okay,
Okay.
now I got what y'all are talking about. But it had riddled my entire life. I mean, I had paranormal type experiences from a very, very early age. They never stopped. I mean, I could kind of put those blinders on at points, um, but I could never keep them on.
That's so interesting. I can't imagine why would the spirit say, "Oh, this 3-year-old's going to be able to help me," or whatever it is that they're, trying to do. Because
Yep.
I mean, I don't know that maybe they don't understand age. I don't know. They're like, "Here's a light. Here's someone I can talk to. Here's someone who
Think
can
that
hear
it's one
me."
of those things that they're like, there's the light, and we see that, someone understands that someone hears us. I mean, so
Yeah.
that when that happens, they're like, oh yeah, shit, let's tell her all the things, you
Yeah.
know. And sometimes it's like, no, I don't need to hear all the things. So, and especially because I've had such a strong connection to working and clearing dark and demonic spirits. Has been some strong work that I've done, and it's something that I have been called to do from a very early age. And those were things that, when they showed up, that you want to talk about like the Indian chief. I mean, he was all right at that point. I mean, you're talking about dealing with stuff that doesn't take physical form.
Yeah.
That's when it gets real weird.
That's horrifying. Horrifying for a kid.
Yeah, so that's when things get a little like, mm, this is a
So
little concerning.
when you tried to shut it off, what did that look like? How did you learn at an early age to manifest a shield, or how did you shut
Actually,
it
it was
down?
it was really, it was very much a child's way of looking at it. When I look back, it was just like, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to look at it. No, 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 no. It's just
Hmm.
cover the eyes, cover the ears, and we're not doing this.
Yeah. La 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 la
Yeah, yeah,
la.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
my
much.
my friend Ren, who was doing this show with me, she's taking a bit of a recess from the show, but I think she's got some abilities, but she has very strong shields. She's like that. She's like, I am, nope, not gonna, no. Like she heard in one of our episodes, she was talking about it, and I wish I could remember her story, but she heard, and she doesn't see, she hears. She
That's okay. Yeah,
doesn't
that's clairaudience. Yeah, there's multiple
clairaudience.
gifts. So clairaudience is just one of the. I say there's multiple clairs. Clairaudience is one of them, which just
Interesting.
means that you
Okay.
hear and you don't see.
Which would be
Um,
frustrating too, at least when you see some. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Either way, you probably think you're crazy.
yeah, I was about to say no, because here's the interesting thing, which has always been so. Because I actually, as I started a career, it became extremely important for me to help other people through this journey that didn't know what they had and what they could do. And and so the voices that you hear a lot of times is your voice, which I always say that makes it even more confusing, because then you're wondering, is that my own internal voice or my own internal
Hmm.
why, that's why at one point I was like, I'm gonna need y'all to come with me up with a different voice, because if y'all start coming in with my own voice, I'm just gonna be thinking I'm having another conversation with myself, which is
Right.
pretty common anyway. So
Me too. Me too. Oh, how funny. So it just sounds like growing up in the Deep South. I'm from the Deep South too, and having this kind of gift that sounds extremely traumatic. How did you cope, or did you act out, or did you shut in on yourself? What did you do?
I've always had a really strong personality. So I mean, I coped really, was able to manage it extremely well. I will say that I'm ADD, extremely bad. I have learned through this that a lot of people that are some level of neurodivergency are very inclined to the gifts.
Okay.
And so I think that what I recognized later in life is that a lot of what caused my ADD was spirits that were standing too close
Oh, interesting.
and they were disrupting my energy field. And I didn't, even though I kind of tried to shut off where it was like, I don't want to see you, they were still standing real close. So I could still experience feeling them
Mm-hmm.
and knowing they were there, which could also still disrupt my energy and make it to where I was like, that's too much. But I didn't even understand why.
Yeah, why? That is interesting. So, as you grew up, did you just stop talking to your family about it, or did you continue to try to, look, I'm still seeing this, or if you had a family member that had a that you received a message for, how did that go?
But that's been fun.
Yeah, because I'm sure they don't want to hear it.
Well, it took into my so it was when my father died is when the real blinders flew off.
Oh, wow.
Um and obviously some other traumatic experiences that I was going through at the same time. And it all happened very much back to back. And that was when literally spirit was like, we're not going away anymore.
Yeah, that was the crack that they needed to blow you wide open to
Yeah.
to get into your life. Interesting.
And so that's when I really started accepting everything. And it was and yeah, so I did at that point start having family members that would come that had passed on. Um the one that became the most interesting was my grandmother, that was my mother's mother, who I had a very tense relationship with.
Okay, okay.
Um, and me and my mother had always struggled with, my gifts and everything else like that. And she had finally gotten to the point where she understood and she was accepting of my gifts. But we had a family estate that had been stuck in just back and forth, going back and forth with just trying to get it all cleared out. And I finally got a message. I said, she has said that she will let that home rot if you don't fix what she's telling you to fix.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and she was like, well, we can't do all that. And I was like, I'm telling you what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
The house
Interesting.
then developed the most aggressive form of termites
Oh my God.
and ended up being a multi-million-dollar home that ended up going for a fraction of the
Oh,
cost.
wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Be-
And I was like,
Because they didn't listen to you.
right.
Yep. So when that crack opened, did did they like barge through and it all came back at one time? Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I
Surprise,
always say
bitch,
that
we're here.
we are here. We are here. And they were like, I mean, kicking doors in and everything. And I was like, and that was when I had zero boundaries, and I would get woke up at night because they would be shaking my bed to
Yeah.
wake me up. And they were like, had things they didn't want to talk about. I'd be walking through grocery stores and they'd be like wanting to say things to me. And I was just like, and I had a toddler at that point. So, I mean, I'm like dealing with like, going through a divorce and a toddler and my dad dying and all these other things. And I've got all these dead people around me. And I'm like, the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot. And so it became extremely overwhelming, especially causing lots of lack of sleep. So I had to set up some personal boundaries.
Did you like sit them down and have a talk with them and
Oh,
say, look,
absolutely. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
okay,
this is, it's time. We're gonna, this is, because well, I mean, actually, it started with me actually in my backyard on my knees.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And I said, okay, I know that this is the path that I'm called to. And I said, I am willing to follow and blind and unwavering faith. I will follow you right now
Okay.
in whatever way you lead me. And that was my bet promise is I promise I'll follow whichever direction you take me. And then I realized that that was like way too wide open.
Yes, that's what
And
I
I
was
was like,
thinking.
shit.
Yes.
All right, never mind, guys. Group meeting. We got to get back together again.
Set up
That ain't
some
working.
boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah, we need some boundaries, guys. And so now my son at a certain age had decided he asked me to please stop randomly stopping people in stores because it was becoming embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because I would like leave people crying and I'm just walking away and he's like,
Yeah.
please don't do
Yeah.
that. I left his dentist crying one time and I was like,
Oh God.
sorry. And he's like, but are you really? And I was
Yeah, I
like,
bet you get that a lot. Are you really? Lots of
okay, but
skeptics out there.
yeah. And I was like, no, I mean, I'm not really sorry because she wouldn't have gotten the message any other way. She didn't believe it until I walked through the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was
So
like, I mean,
you have a purpose for sure.
yeah,
So in your bio, you said that your gifts got you fired from your corporate job. What is
yeah.
that all about? What
That was when it was a
happened?
little too wide open. It was, I would say that I was unable to keep everything under control. And I was literally, I think it was exhaustion. It was not knowing what I was doing. I felt very out of control, and I started to experience the dark night of the soul, which most people, if they are intuitive at any level or have been on a spiritual journey, the dark night of the soul. It's pretty much just it's a spiritual shit show
Hmm.
that we experience, and it's very hard. And I started to self medicate to deal with through that process.
That's what I was going to ask you is if medication dimmed your gifts or shut them out or make things worse or
No, they don't seem to shut up. So it doesn't. But it was more of a, when I needed to relax or get things calmed down, I was going to either drink too much or I was going to, whatever it may be to kind of keep myself in a peace. But it was not really peace.
yeah,
So that's when I had to really learn to find a different level of peace and really start to kind of hone in on what my purpose was, why I'm here, what am I doing, and what am I meant for.
and try to shape it the way that you could because the
Yeah.
self-medication is temporary. I mean, it might
Yep.
help briefly, but yeah,
Absolutely,
you
it
have to
is.
get your shit together and figure
You
out.
do.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
of course I realized during all those that I mean if you're slightly intoxicated also that that you can also it opens up some things that you may not need to have happen. So I opened like a portal in my bathroom on accident one time,
Hmm.
and that was a whole train wreck. But that was always the joke was when I started reading people. When I first started reading people, it was generally people that were just people I knew or people that had brought people to me,
Hmm.
and I was generally drunk on my back porch, smoking cigarettes and just hanging out. And I
Hmm.
just gave messages. If they were there, they got told something.
Yep.
And that's when I realized I was like, I got to start, bringing this in and bringing it
Yep.
down. And so, but, and that's, I lost the job and I launched a couple of businesses out of necessity because of being a mom. And I was like, okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I refurbished furniture and I talked to dead people. I started both, and I was like, I found out real fast that they found it more interesting for you to talk to dead people than refurbished furniture because I guess everybody can do that. So
Interesting. Yeah. So has your relationship with spirit changed since you went professional?
yeah, absolutely. Not in a bad way, actually. I mean,
Okay.
not in any bad way at all. It's been, I would say, one of the most beautiful journeys. I've now read had readings in all 50 states and 7 countries.
Oh,
I
wow.
have, and I've learned that there's no walls or place that I can't reach. And they've grown. And of course, I have guides that will step forth at different times to help with different levels of different issues. But it's been wonderful. It's brought me to several people that I mean, that have been, that have become friends. I mean, I've had people that I've just created great relationships with, but it's been beautiful to do.
Wow. That's fascinating to me. That's crazy. What is the weirdest or funniest reaction someone has given you from a message that they didn't expect or want?
Um, hmm. Okay, so let's see here. I had one spirit that stepped forth for a session, and when I remember talking to him before we started the session, and as soon as the lady got on the phone, or on it's the video calls, this is how I do them, and I said, your your brother asked me to ask you about the time that he made you piss your pants. And she was like, "That's where we're starting here." And I was like, "That's what he asked me to start with."
Oh, that's
Sorry,
funny.
but not really. But I mean, sorry, that's what he asked me. And she was like, she said he would do that. And I was like, "Well, yeah, because
That's
that's what he."
hilarious.
So that one
Well,
was really funny, and entertaining, as a starter. Um, I would say, I've had people get up and walk away, and it wasn't because it was not accurate. It was because it freaked them out.
yeah, I
They
believe
had to
that.
walk away. And I've only have one that actually was funny. I think that I had one guy that was just like, he was like, "I don't believe in what you do," and I was like, "That's fine." I said, "I'm not here to make
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
believe what I do." And I was like, I said, "But," I said, "I am seeing a picture of your mother because she's right behind you." And I said, "And it's of y'all standing in front of a station wagon." And I said, "And what people don't know about that picture," I said, "is your mama had beat your ass in a circle with a wooden spoon right before that picture started."
Did he believe you then?
He looks at me and he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." And the lady that was with him looks and she goes, "You showed me that picture yesterday."
Interesting.
And I was like, "I'll go now."
Hmm.
So I don't need you
Oh,
to tell me you believe because now I just told you something that you can't, refute. I mean, it's there.
yep.
I'll even let it go.
Yep. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Yep.
Yep.
You called yourself a closet reader at some point. What kinds of chaotic secret readings were happening during that period of your life?
Those were generally the drunk on the back porch ones.
Ah,
Yeah, that was the drunk on the back porch. But there was all kinds of chaos in those. I mean, but it was because I mean, and people were literally getting brought to my front door, like I didn't know them, and they'd be like, "This person sees things, or this person just had somebody die," and I mean, just people would just show up, and
hmm,
needing one thing or another, and it caused all kinds of chaos. But that was predominantly because I I was literally I was walking the path, but I didn't understand the path
yeah. Do you
at
do you
all.
do you ever get a message that you refuse to pass on, or do you just you pass it on because that's what the spirits are telling you?
Oh, there are certain messages that are not meant to be passed on. I will
Okay.
know, and I'm not allowed to tell them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, there are certain ones that I can't. I mean, I just get told, and but then I'm told clearly that that's for you to know. Often it revolves around their death.
Oh, yeah.
If I can't, which I have told him, I was like, "Look, if I can't change it,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then I need to make sure that you understand that I don't need to try to. There's no, I can't tell. I mean, that's because that's been a hard one. I mean, I have had a few people that it could have prevented a death, and they didn't listen, and I mean, and those were really tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so I just had to kind of learn at certain points that certain ones. It's what I call my burden to bear.
That's a heavy burden.
It is.
Wow. Well, okay, so you launched your Facebook page and did you expect, I bet you were terrified, but did you
I was
expect,
terrified.
yeah,
I was terrified.
did you thought
Um,
this think this is going to be a disaster or did you think, oh, they're going to come?
nope. I didn't think they were going to come, and actually, I didn't know I could do it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I remember jumping on my first Facebook Live, scared shitless.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, because I'd never read people that I'd never seen, and I'd never attempted to try to connect and give messages to people that I didn't know.
Yeah, and it seems like online that would be, I mean, I'm an energy person and I
Yeah,
feel energy. And so to me, it seems like you would need to be near that person to feel their energy. That is amazing that you don't.
you don't. And it was so wild and insane. I mean, and so for quite some time I did lives, and I would read people for free, and it was honestly I mean, just at the very beginning of everything, and it was to let people see how I worked.
Hmm.
Let them kind of get to know who I was and how how I would how my readings would be, what they kind of the messages and the type of information that I could get from them. Um, and it was extremely helpful. It really did opened me in a way that I was honestly I was blown away so often by, because it was and they got those those group readings became bigger and bigger, and they got more and more, and it got extremely crazy, because I started struggling with the fact that a lot of people would constantly want to come back and want more and more. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I had to kind of start. That's when I finally was like, you know what? I've proven what I can do.
Yeah.
Book a time.
Yeah,
At this
for
point,
sure.
I can't continue to just read people for
Are
free.
there are there anything moments that you look back on when you were first starting and learning how to do this professionally that make you cringe laugh?
Um, oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the portal in the bathroom. I mean, but then also, I mean, the understanding of energy, and understanding like of the things that happen, because of course, I mean, I jumped I mean feet first into scenarios that were clearing out demonic activity, and all types of things like that, and I did not, I was not prepared for
Yeah.
when I first started.
Hmm.
And I look back and I mean, I have pictures of after my first one where I have physical bruises on my body.
Oh,
And you can see a different face on me.
that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
And it was weird, and I was very sick after it. And I realized that, that was like, oh. And then I also realized that at a certain point I started working so heavily in energy that I could literally give people the energy they need to kind of, for certain things. And but I realized I was not even using, I wasn't using universal energy, which is which is the safe and what you're supposed to
Yes.
do. I was doing mine, and then I was
Yes.
wondering why I'm in bed for 4 days.
Yes, you were giving of yourself too much.
I was depleting everything I had.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
look back and I was like, oh, that's not, yeah, that brain wreck.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I was going to say what's the dumbest assumption, but that's not a very good term. Well, I don't know what other term to use. What's the dumbest assumption that someone has made about your work?
Oh gosh. Had someone asked me one time, they were like, how clear of information can you get? And
Hmm.
I was like, how clear of and I was like, I mean, I can get, and this one was so crazy. And I will say, I rarely ever will talk about a client, but this one I actually refused to accept as a client. She wanted the username and password to somebody that she had met. What? Man, we are not psychic spies, and I'm surely not using it for that.
That and what's the upcoming lottery numbers?
Right. Yeah. What's the upcoming lottery numbers? If I knew them, do you think I'd be sitting here in front of you?
Right?
Yeah. It's not the way it works for it. So, you know,
Uh,
no.
have have you ever had a reading that was just so messy, gossipy, celebrity level gossipy reading where you were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." Like juicy.
Oh yeah, I've had tons of them that were absolutely. I'm like, a lot of them though go into really deep stuff. I mean, and it's like, then you're, I mean, so, and that's why I always explain to people, I'm like, look, I hope you realize, I mean, that anything that happens and give is that we uncover in your session is almost like I keep almost the same level of as like a therapist.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's
I
between
imagine so.
me, you, and spirit. That's it.
Yeah, because you do hear stuff that doesn't need to be out there.
Mm-mm.
That
I
is
mean,
fascinating.
talking about murders,
Oh, wow.
and things that have happened within, people dying that is very, very traumatic. I mean,
Hmm.
that people that when they come to these type of scenarios are generally at their most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important for us to do that and handle that in the right respect.
Do you ever have to use any tools like a seance type thing or tarot cards or
I love tarot. I love my tarot cards and
hmm
oracle cards and things like that. Um, I use them at times, but honestly, I've used pendulums. I've used divination rods. I mean, I've used all
but
kinds of things, but the majority of the time, I mean, I've just realized that a lot of those are mostly just. I mean, sometimes it's a good clarifier. Like, I mean,
okay.
I have, what I have found is I will go through a full reading, and even at the end, if I pull tarot cards, that they'll generally just be saying the same thing I just said.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's more of
Um,
a tool that people that need help focusing would use, and you are already beyond that point,
right.
really.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between a seance and what you do? Or is there? Or I
I
mean,
mean, well, since I'm channeling, so I'm accepting for spirits to either a communicate with me and stand next to me, and they're gonna, I'm gonna be the message, the relaying of messages, or they are physically in my body temporarily, so that I'm actually it is their communication, not mine.
I would not like that. I don't think I would like them to be in my body. That is
It
crazy.
and that's why when people are like, "Do you remember when you said?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, because it wasn't me."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Interesting.
if you need it, you better write it down.
So, do you still, so were you able to set up boundaries so that there are times when you are free of that, or do they still come at you 24/7?
But I'm not gonna. I have I've become very clear that it is I try to restrict it to my office now.
Okay.
Um, and then the other rule that I have is unless it's something that I can prevent, um, or an emergency, and
Yeah.
you need me to do, and there's some sort, and I can actually it can change this, whatever's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only times I mean, anything else, just let me live life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the most petty spirit that you've encountered?
The guy that's saying I'm an asshole in my bathroom for a week.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go. He was a card. But I was like, I don't even
Was he
really
trying to get you to get his point across for you to do something, or was he just there to mess with you?
just there to mess with me. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
he was just I mean, he just was like, he was silly. I've had children, a lot of, at one point I had several children that had shown up. Those were more comical than not, where, I mean, they would just be moving stuff or find stuff funny or whatever. But generally they also were they were like, I need you to go find my mom
Yeah.
or my dad and tell them this. And I'm like, some of them I knew, but some of them I was like, I don't even know your parents. Then
Yeah.
that's not something I can accomplish for you.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to bring me like your social security number, I'm not showing
Right.
up at some random person's doorstep.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any spirits who refuse to talk to you because they don't like your vibe? Or are there any spirits that you refuse to talk to because you don't like their vibe?
I've never refused to communicate with the spirit, because I think that no matter what their vibe is, there's a reason for it and there's a purpose
Okay.
as to why they are the way they are. And that's what I even try to explain to people because they're like, that's the funny part is when a lot of people call and they're like, I have a demon in my house. I'm like, it's probably not. It's probably an asshole, because nine
Mm-hmm.
times out of 10 it is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a demon, you have an asshole in your house. Um, but they have a reason. there's something going on that's made them that way or has them acting and behaving that way. It's just like a toddler, you know, they're
Hmm.
not being heard.
Do you ever get a spirit that is like roasting the person that you're trying to read? Like,
Oh yeah, they have before plenty of times, and those have always been entertaining because they're like, that would, yeah, because I mean, of course, you find these ones that are like siblings, or just that
yes.
was the relationship that they had, and that was how they, and so that's how they want to come in, and that's what they want to say.
Oh, that's hilarious. I can just see that. Did you know she used to dye her hair green? Or, I can just see
Yeah,
the gossip, and they have you to gossip with because they don't get to do that without, you're one of a very minority type of person. That is interesting. So I want to talk about these cleansings and hauntings and weird things. So
yeah.
what does a house cleansing look like? What does that even mean?
Everyone is different.
Okay.
There is absolutely no two that are ever the same. Um, so when I say that, I mean so I can't ever say what it's going to look like. I just have to um, just start the process and see what's going on.
So like
Um,
you show up and you get the feeling of it and then okay, I'm feeling this way and you don't just walk in with
Sage
sage
burning?
and
Nope,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nope. I start to walk the property, and I and communicate with what's with what is there and see what's going on. Um, how I generally start out is I have them send a photo of the home to me.
Okay.
Just send me like a picture of the front of the home, and once they send me the picture of the front of the home, then I schedule a call with them and tell them what I'm seeing is happening at the
Okay.
property.
Okay.
Um, and then I'll advise them if I can or can help them with that. If the spirits are willing to, if it's a spirit that I feel like I'm going to have a ability to clear. So far I've only had one home that I've walked away from that, and it wasn't out of, I mean, I had to leave them with just instructions, and I
Yeah.
was like, look, because of this, and this is what you'll have. It's just, this is not going to change. And here's how you're going to need to deal with your home. But that one
Interesting.
was they, I got out of the car at the home, and I literally felt my hair getting scalped off the back of my head. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh no. And then I just started feeling like all of this just battle and war. And I started talking to the lady as she opens the door. I said, okay, I said, I see Indians that are running this way. And I was like, and I said, I just got my head scalped as soon as I stepped out of the car. I was like, it literally just snatched me back. And I was like, and I started talking to her all these things. And she was like, we're a mile from the Trail of Tears.
Wow.
Because I don't do research. I don't, all I do is
Yeah.
I show up.
Yep. Yep. You let the feeling come to
Yeah.
you
And
first.
I was like, oh gosh.
Is that the wildest one that you've ever had?
Um, It was a pretty intense one.
Yeah.
The I had a wild one with someone that was a very has now been a long-standing friend that she had a an entity in her home that was outside of her home actually, and was screaming so loud that it was audible, that her neighbors had started calling the police
Oh my
because they
God.
thought that she was being attacked, because they would hear this woman in the middle of the night screaming. And so she started having the police that were showing up at her house, but it would only happen on certain dates.
Interesting.
And so she ended up meeting me through the neighborhood watch. And I was like, well, I guess, that's, you know, what else? And she said, I'm not, I just wanted you to come and look, see what you
Okay.
experience,
Okay.
and what you feel. And I walked over or I drove over and started walking the property. And she was like, what do do you get anything? And I was like, there's a woman by that tree. I said, she's screaming at the top of her lungs. And she's like, yeah, that's what you're here for. Her.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I so I told her, I said, I can help with this. I said, I'll get it cleared and everything. And I showed back up, and I the woman's name was Annie.
Okay.
and Annie was a slave,
Oh.
and she had a baby from the man that was her master or whatever they
Mm-hmm.
want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
and and so she tried to run away to keep that baby safe,
Mm-hmm.
and they murdered her, and her body was never found, and her
Oh,
story was never told. And so she was showing up on the night of her murder, and that's what was making her on that night scream.
were you able to put her at ease?
I channeled her, and there is a video actually that was one of the weirder ones of the videos that I'd had where I literally took on her face, I took on her voice, and you started to see blood running down my face in the video, and I told her story, and she has been gone ever since.
Wow, that gives me goosebumps. I've actually got literal chills.
Yeah, I was grateful to help her
God, that's
story be
a
told.
wonderful thing. That is
Yeah,
wonderful.
it was. It was a really
So
special one.
when you come across the demonic ones, it makes me think of the Conjuring movies. Do you deal with anything like that, or is that
Mhm.
close to reality, or is that,
There is I've had some where animals have been decapitated.
oh gosh.
Yeah. Like their pets, rabbits, gerbils have been decapitated. I've had some that they've lost. They've had um, dogs and cats that have disappeared and can't be found. Um, so yes, there is. I mean, people think that some of that stuff is not can't happen. You'd be surprised what can. You
Well,
know,
do you do a cleansing for, what is it called when the Catholic Church does it?
exorcism.
Exorcism. I mean, is that what you do, or?
I do a exorcism esque process. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I call it eviction day is what I call it.
Eviction day. I love that. I love
So
that.
yeah, I'm
And
like,
and
it's eviction day.
you said that that's worked except for in one case?
The one case, and it was the woman that was by the Trail of Tears.
Oh,
And that was because
yeah.
she had a skinwalker.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah.
and and the skinwalker was protecting the land, and what they feel had happened to their land. But there was a process that I was given. Thankfully, because of my guide chief, he said this is what she's going to have to do, and this is what she will always have to do.
Okay. And so,
Um,
yeah, you said that you had given her instructions and she was going to have to do that periodically, or?
yep,
Oh,
for as long as
interesting.
she owns the home.
Oh, man.
Yep. And I was like, there's this, and this. And I was like, and so far, I mean, everything has been at peace with it. I mean, she's had a few up kicks of it when certain things are going on in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they seem to be revolving around when there's a lot of stuff going on in her life. And I was like, that's pretty common though.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So do you do businesses too, or just
I
homes?
have.
You've
Yeah.
done businesses?
I've done businesses. I've actually done multiple businesses. I've done kickboxing studios, theaters, and all kinds of places that would schools that have you wouldn't think I guess that people would be calling for, but yes, I have, some of them have been that were struggling in business have been able to turn business around. Some of them that were having experiences there were able to at least get it under control to where it wasn't such a chaos. I mean, like one of them, that like the theater, that one was one that I was like, you're always going to kind of have a little bit of a battle here, just only because of the fact that you're constantly bringing in stuff
Yeah.
to use in the
Yeah.
theater.
Yep.
A lot of times being donated by people that were dead.
Yep. Yep. I can see that.
So it's like, I can't, I mean, I can get rid of what's here now, but the second you bring something else in, I mean, just
So, like places like Savannah that are supposed to be more haunted, do you feel that? Is it, when you go to those places that are allegedly really
notoriously
haunted,
haunted. Yeah.
do you feel more from there, or is it the same for you no matter where you go?
Usually the same for me wherever I go.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll be the same
Okay.
wherever I go, and that's okay. I mean, that's okay. So, but yeah, it is everywhere. So,
What's a
um,
mistake that people do when they're trying to cleanse things? I mean, I think probably the stereotype of, oh, you just got to wave sage around, that's probably the biggest mistake I would think.
biggest mistake is them not knowing what they're dealing with. You just
Yeah.
going in and you say, "We got a problem. We know we got paranormal activity. I'm gonna go in here with some sage, like I saw on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna clear this."
Mm-hmm.
When you have absolutely no business and you have absolutely no idea what you're dealing with. And then you go in, and because of the way you deal with it, you piss something off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the number one mistake. Or the people that say, "I'm gonna have a paranormal team come in." Those are
Mm-hmm.
that's usually a, unfortunately, there are too many paranormal teams that are just not, they don't have they haven't took the time to truly investigate and understand. They're curious of the paranormal, and a lot of times they see these things again on like ghost hunters or all these different shows that are
Yeah.
on
Yep.
TV that don't use good practices.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in and you kick a hornet's nest, and then
Yep.
they leave these homeowners, and they're like, "Good luck,"
Ugh, that's terrible.
and they're
Do
like,
do you ever get scared anymore, or are you pretty much unspookable because of everything you've seen?
I guess I can. I mean, I try to at least keep a level head to it. But I mean, at this point, I mean, I've seen shapeshifters, I've seen, skinwalkers, I've seen, entities that, literally ran across ceilings, and all kinds of weird and odd scenarios that happen. That at this point, I mean, I can't say that I'll be, I've never left out of a fear.
Okay. Can
I've never,
can they physically hurt you?
yes.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, you said you had bruises
Hmm.
before.
Yeah, that's why when I mean, people are like, "I'm going to get somebody, this person, that they're going to come do it for free," and I'm like, "No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
not." People, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I hate to tell people that, and I'm just like, they're like, "Well, I'm gonna come and have the person at the church come to." I'm like, "Feel free to,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "But," and I'm not, because I'm not gonna judge you about your faith. I mean, because
Right.
that's the
Right.
biggest thing is, I mean, if that's what you believe,
Mm-hmm.
but if that doesn't work out, call me.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I mean, I have, every time they've said, "I'm gonna go do this," and then it's like they'll call back and they'll be like, "It's not, it didn't work," and I'm like, "Right."
So if eh, what advice would you give then to like a witch or an intuitive who's trying to do their own cleansing work? Would you say don't call in someone, call in a professional, so to speak?
If you're looking to clear energy, do it. Go for
Mm-hmm.
it. If it's just, you got some stanky energy going on up in there, and maybe it's, there's been a lot of disagreements and fights, and you're just, people are not getting along, or there's been a weird shift, and it's just stuff going like that. Absolutely, do some clearing in it. I encourage, using sea salt and mopping your floors to clear energy.
Mm-hmm.
Start to diffuse essential oils, and anything else that you can, for always clean your house. I know that that
Yes.
sounds like the most basic thing ever, but it is so true. And it's the first thing that I have to tell people before I come. I'm like, "Look, I'm coming. Clean your house."
Mm-hmm.
Because if I show up and it's a train wreck, you're pretty much just asking me to clean up, you know,
Yeah.
it's already a problem. So,
Yeah.
because that's not going to be clear energy. So, if it's any of those, absolutely go ahead and try. Do what you can with it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and banish
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
I encourage, just say, that you're clear. Say a prayer or a blessing over the home. As you're doing it with the right intention, and just, and that is absolutely something I would encourage you to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a spirit that's a nuisance, I guess, that's not really you're not getting hurt, you're not feeling scared, but it's become a problem. You honestly don't need sage at that point. You just need to be very upfront with them.
Mm-hmm.
and and see if you can find out why they're there. Be careful about using Ouija boards, ghost apps, anything that allows for spirit communication. Um, please be careful because that is the fastest way to open a portal.
Yes.
Or open and rip open a situation that may have been a mild scenario and turn it into helter skelter really fast.
Yeah. I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
Um, what is one thing you wish beginners would, well, let's say, what do beginners worry about that you wish that they would stop worrying about? I mean, besides
Trusting
everybody,
themselves.
yeah, yeah.
Trusting themselves. That's number
Okay.
one.
Just believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Go with your gut.
Yes. Go with your gut. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go with your gut. And also just do your homework. I
Hmm.
mean, and don't and realize that and I always just say be careful about like there's so much out there now. And you have to realize there's a lot of people that put content out there that have no business
Yeah. I was
doing
going to
so.
say, do we research and TikTok is not research.
TikTok is not research. I mean, and honestly, YouTube, I mean, any of those platforms is not. I mean, make sure that who you're dealing with has um, done their work, to know what to know how to guide their journey and help you at any level. I mean, that's why when we first started talking, I was like, I mean, I've gotten 5 certifications in different healing modalities at the master level, and I
Hmm.
went and got my bachelor's in metaphysics. I mean, I've gotten ordained as a in faith. I mean, I
Hmm.
went through all these different things, but it was all these different reasons that led me to this path of just like, okay, you can only deal with this so many times,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
but I've got to educate myself. And if I'm going to try to help these people on their journey, I can't, be asking Chat GPT what it needs to tell me to, for the next best thing here.
Yeah, for sure. Does spirit ever talk to you like a friend, like without giving you a message to tell to someone else?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, you have to realize. I mean, it's our guides that are assigned to us at birth are so like us.
Okay.
I mean, they are so like us. I mean, so I've got two that have been with me, and I know have been with me for a long time. Oh, actually, four that have been with me and have been with me for a long time. One is almost like Elaine from Seinfeld.
I love her. Hmm.
Yeah, and so she's kind of got that energy to her.
Hmm.
And then I've got Chief. And then I have two that I'm not allowed to really talk much about, but
Okay.
they come across as henchmen.
Oh, interesting. Do they ever gossip with you about things that they wish humans wouldn't do? Or is there, have they ever tried to help you help the human race at all? Or,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they have, and at points that's when every once in a while I have channeled messages that I've done like videos on where it's just like, look, this is what I'm being told for like the collective. Like right now, this
hmm.
is what I'm hearing. A lot. I put out a lot of that stuff when COVID first happened.
Hmm.
I put a lot of messages for the collective. I got a lot of messages through that first year of like just stuff that they needed people to hear, and what people weren't listening to and what people needed to understand and why things were the way they were. And so yeah, there's times that they're saddened by by
Hmm.
what's going on, and there's times that they or that they'll talk about like certain things and the way that they're kind of they're unfolding for us.
Hmm.
Some of them, I mean, I'll still look back and I'm like, I'm not really sure I kind of picked that one up quite yet. I'm not
Hmm.
understanding.
Hmm.
Like I knew that Donald Trump would be back, and I'm
Hmm.
not going to go political, but I knew it was going to
Hmm.
happen.
Hmm.
And it's been a weird one. That's been one that I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out.
What they were trying to tell you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, and I mean, I had people tell me they're like, he's not, and I'm like, no, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
telling you he will. And I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and there's a reason. Still trying to figure that one. But that's where it's at.
Do do you feel a message to share with our listeners today, or is that not how
Let's
that
see.
works?
No, I can. Yeah, absolutely. I love um be present.
Okay.
I need you to remember that the moments that we have in the everyday is what's important for us to be a part of. And the moment that you stay engulfed in your phone or other things that are distracting you from being where you're meant to be, you are taking away from the gift that is given to you every day.
I love that. I love that. Have is if someone listening is afraid to accept that gift that they might have, what would you tell
Yeah.
them?
Um, Please reach out. I have a program that I developed several years back. That is a that is all I say. It's all the fundamental foundation steps. It is literally taking you through all the things that I wish that I had been told to start.
That
And
is
it is so important to have. And I've had so many people that even have been on their journey for a while that they didn't take the right steps, and they've come back and taken that course. It's recorded content, and then I do a one-on-one coaching call with them. And it's such a great way to just be able to find your footing in it all.
that is
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, so I that one, it was it's a 3 hour recorded content, and I it's called Awakening Your Spirit, and I just really found a strong draw into helping people to understand their journey. Every once in a while, I feel led to launch a course, for different topics. The most recent one I just did was, to embrace the emerging crone. Was the one that I actually did a 3 part series on that one, and it was on embracing the crone phase of our life,
Yep.
and what that really meant for us as we start to put down the roles and the titles that we play.
Interesting. Where would people find these?
They're on my website, but as if you don't see it, then you're more than welcome to you can actually message me through my website, and
Okay.
I'd be happy to, get everything set up for you.
Okay. I will
Yeah,
post that information when I post this podcast. I will put
absolutely.
your website on there as well. So if someone decides to contact you for a session of their own, what should they expect?
Um, Keep your mind open. That's all I
Okay.
can say. Keep your mind open. The more open you are to the messages and what messages might be meant for you, and not what you want the messages to be, the better it is.
That makes sense. And you can do it with them from anywhere because you do it
Yep,
virtually. See,
yep,
that's so helpful. That
yep.
is, you can hit all of my listeners. That's great. We got some in Australia. We've got a lot in other countries. So that is
Yes.
so cool.
Yep. I used to have a lot I used to do a lot of in Australia. I haven't had any sessions in Australia recently, but I used to reach a good bandwidth into that area. So but yes, absolutely. It's all done by video calls, so it makes it very easy for me to be able to connect with people.
And tell them verbally so that those who don't want to have to go search for it, what is your website?
It's clairvoyantjess.com.
Perfect.
So you can find me on social media, Clairvoyant Jess. Please make sure if you are on social media, you find the blue check marks, because I have had some spoof pages,
Ooh,
and unfortunately they did scam people. So I just want to make sure that y'all are
oh,
aware. Mine's got the blue check mark. So that it proves that it's my account. Or you can go directly to the website, clairvoyantjess.com.
perfect. Thank you so much for being a guest. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. I learned a whole bunch. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.